Down there where you see those cars at the red light, that's at the corner of 1792, US 1792, and County Road 532, which is also called Osceola Polk Line Road. Just so we get some markers and location on this. Sorry, I haven't figured out how to do the location part on this phone yet, but here's the train track. Yeah, and we have high-speed rail coming through here, right down this track, which I can only imagine will be hauling some of this type product, you know, the oil, the crude oil mixed with gas. And here's one of the train track stations, if that helps somebody navigate this and tell exactly where I'm at. It's CR 532-622-956D A 817.63. And we already have a petroleum pipeline running down through here. Been here for years. You know, warning, petroleum pipeline, no excavation. And undoubtedly there's a KUA natural gas pipeline back over there. Let me get up here close so we can actually see it. And then we have new cross arms for this new train that's going to come down through here. And back in there is one of the Duke Energy power plants, but there's another one on down that train track to the northeast of here, which I believe is a nuclear plant, where there was when they were bringing some of the stuff in, one of their tractor trailers got stuck on the track, and there was a major train accident there. You know, the truck was stuck there for about 2 hours, and they still didn't stop the train from coming. But let me get over here through all these maze of power lines and get you an address of this particular power plant. It says 6525 Osceola Polk Line Road, the Intercession City plant. But there's looks like some type of shutoff valve. Don't know if it's for water or for what, and maybe it's the gas, I'm not sure. But here's more of our wetlands. The water running off the road, running back into that plant. Because it is wetlands along that power line, and there's a culvert coming from across the street, and that is all wetlands over there. So I'm going to pull on down the road and show you their pipe yard. I think it's kind of ironic that they call this a water body. This is the exit to the water body. And back there is where it kind of looks like they're putting up some type of facility. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to find access, you know, because I'm on that little stand of trees. They block the public's view when they're building stuff like this. But it says water body 01, which is, you know, what northerners would call a little creek. But they call it a water body. It's not the wetlands. I don't understand it. But undoubtedly they had their little party favors up, you know, showing these power lines, but for some reason they've taken them down. And these are little spot holes where they dug and tried to spot some of the utilities that run down this road. You know, the gas line, the petroleum line, all these different lines. But this is the same thing I showed earlier, where they put these rock beds in so they don't get stuck on ground that they probably wouldn't get stuck on in the first place, but they'll put machinery in the wetlands with no support system under it, no doing anything right. And this is what we get. So let me walk over here to this gate that says no trespassing. Oh, let me before I do that, let me get this picture. Another sign that says no fueling. Or no refueling. Yeah, so I wonder what they're going to do to refuel all this equipment if they're not allowed to refuel. Let me see if I can find a tank back here. Because here's one of the locate flags, buried natural gas pipeline. And they didn't dig above it and find and locate it. But they did. I have a feeling this is probably a communication line because they're orange flags. Yep, Central Link buried cable. Probably some type of fiber. So we stand to lose all kinds of things and have some very explosive stuff happening out here. Looks like they brought in a lot of fill back in here. This was undoubtedly a driveway at one time. There's part of an old culvert side. And water's flowing really well down in that creek. But they're putting in French drain. You can see that really big machine way back there. That's a machine that's got a 20-foot deep trenching blade on the front of it where they can put in drainage to drain off the wetlands. So I wouldn't doubt that this was part of the wetlands and they have filled it for whatever. You know, you can see the high power line back there, so I'm sure this is going to run somewhere probably along that utility easement, as they call it. And there's their equipment that you can barely see through the stand of trees they leave, so the public is unaware of what they're doing. They took down their sign, whatever that is, and I'm not going to jump this fence and go over there and trespass as much as I would like to. I couldn't lift the sign by myself in the first place, but that big roll, let me see if I can zoom in on that big roll that's back there. That big black roll right there is what they call French drain pipe that goes along with, let me see if I can't find the machine. There it is, that machine. That white roll is what's underneath the black tarp of the other roll. They're putting in French drain to drain off the wetlands so they can work back here. I don't know what all this stuff is because there's a pile of, looks like, from here, looks like some kind of concrete something or others. Oh, oh, I see, they got some of them, let me see if I can, they got some of them piled into the ground. They call it pile driving. Like they're gonna put some kind of bridge or something. You can see some of them, they're uneven back there. And that's some type of crane on tracks. It's amazing what the power company has in equipment, you know, the money they have. And there's the crane that is probably one of the pile driving cranes. So they've got two of them out here. So they're trying to get this done just as quickly as possible. Well, let me pan back out or see if I can. Yeah, there you go. And I don't know if these pink flags or the flags of a running line that's going to bring that down to our house, but I really think the path is crossing the street right here because there's numerous places along 1792 where they did this on both sides of the road, and they put these planks in right next to the road or a foot off the road, but they didn't put any planks in for the machine to go in and rip out the trees. But they put them all in right here along this road so they could go through this little stormwater ditch. You know, they actually built this up so they wouldn't go tracking through this little tiny bit of water. You know, they protected this because this is on it's not really a major highway, but it's used by a lot of people. They protected this little stream of water while allowing them to go into the wetlands without any of these planks. Yeah, you can tell the tone of my voice. It really pisses me off that they're protecting, you know, they need to protect it all, but they didn't protect the wetlands right by people that drink from private wells. No refueling, wetland number 005. And this goes on back, and you can see the high power line back there, way back in the back, right there. And I'll get to another end where it hits 1792. But more of their little pink flags letting them know that it's the wetland. And another sign that says the exit. Okay, so the other side is the entry of the wetland, and this is the exit of the wetland. But they put all this rock in so they won't get stuck up here on. Yeah, it's a little muddy, but it ain't nothing like the wetland. But I wouldn't doubt this was wetland at one time, and they artificially drained it off, and it became floodplain. But it still holds water, and yeah, we got rains from Matthew, but it basically drizzled all day. But here's more of their party favors laying on the ground. They've got the stakes up that were used out on 1792, where it looks like this stuff was put up in the air. And undoubtedly, with the pipes that are broke off laying next to it, I would say they put them up and somebody took them back down. Yeah, you can see the indent of a hole. So they put them up here next to these. There's the indent right there of where the pipe was, where those party favors were up protecting the high powered line to let these professional, well-trained operators know there's a power line here. You know, I'm a 32-year utility contractor. Before you turn the key on a machine like that, you check your surrounding area so that you know where you're at and what's around you. Now, they protected all of that over there going through that little tiny storm water ditch, but they've been letting them drive all through this with no protections, no planking, no nothing. They could just go on back through there, you know. And I did see a sign, but I can't see it now. There's another sign back over here somewhere that's either no refueling or showing wetlands, because this is definitely wet. And they haven't been working since the storm came through. They've been driving through here with this like this. Yeah, there's that sign. It's another one of those no refueling signs. But they're gonna get this back there to that power line. Now I don't know who owns this property, but there's no fencing or anything, so. But they're gonna travel on down that power line, I'm sure. You know, because it's already a designated utility easement. So people, you better start watching out when they start coming through, and pay attention to the little pink public notice signs along the side of the road. They are hugely important to your life. Not just your property, but to your life. Because once they dedicate this utility easement, they can do anything they want on it. And it don't matter what you think or what your life is like. Because these homes back here, you know, these are some fairly nice homes. They're out here in the country. Most of them have horses and children. And probably grandchildren, and they all drink from private wells. You know, this is unincorporated Polk County. We're on the Polk County side of the Osceola Polk Line Road. That road actually goes up just about dead right on top of the county line. And I can only imagine that little building right there is their pump house that feeds the water to that house. Okay, and there's their playground for their kids. There's another house back there. And this guy way back here in the back, I know he has a whole lot of horses. You know, they do a small rodeo for the locals, teaching them. And you can see the white waving flags. I'm sure that's showing something about this pipeline, but I'm getting a little leery. I'm getting into some pretty high brush, and there's briars, and I'm in shorts, so I'm not going to walk all the way back there. But again, thanks for your support. Please keep sharing it out. Please pass the word on, because we've got to stop the Sabal Trail Pipeline as well as the Florida Southeast Connection Pipeline. They are one and the same. And the train track I showed at the beginning of this is a high-speed rail. The train track's been there for years, but they're adding another track to it for high speed that's going to run from Orlando to Tampa. And it ain't to get cars off the road. It's to haul this dirty crude oil gas, very toxic and explosive mixture. It's horrifying that this slid through, you know, and I'll take some blame there. I was not aware that this was coming. You know, they get to advertise it in the newspaper for a couple days and boof, it's gone. And I really don't read the newspaper, and there was no signs put up anywhere. And then, like I said before in one of the other videos, they were going to run the Florida Southeast Connection Pipeline right behind my home. So it comes down 1792. I'm about a mile off of 1792 back in a subdivision. But then it turns and it runs directly behind my home. They've already been back there mitigating the gopher tortoise. And I did get a letter in the mail, but they simply said it was a natural gas line. They didn't say nothing about fracking. They didn't say nothing about, you know, crude oil and gas mixed together. And to be honest, I was really unaware of how dangerous that is. Because when the train first got announced, I said, man, ain't nobody down here in Florida gonna give up their cars for mass transit on a train to go from Orlando to Tampa and end up in Tampa without a car. You know, we're very used to having our cars. And I understand that that's one of the pollution things and that uses oil and gas. But I promise you, you're not gonna do away with cars, but there's no need for this dirty oil, because most of it is being exported. It's not even for the United States use. It's being exported to other countries. So they're raping our land, claiming we need this for our transportation, but in reality, it's just a profit center, the profiteering that's going on. And I'm gonna shut down now, try to get across this road and go down and see if I can get a better view of the pipe yard. I'm not sure exactly what this yard is across the street. You know, like I said, they took down their sign. And I may try to hook up with some of these property owners back here and see if I can find out anything. I saw a little sign. I'm gonna see if I can see what's on it. Oh, it's a sign right there